Good morning, everyone. This is Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Friday, so you know we talk tech and English on Friday. I'm here with my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva, and Terry Johnson online everywhere, all the way from New York City. We plan to be joined by Dr. Tachi later from Florida, and we are here to talk tech. How you doing this morning, ladies?
Fine.
All is well.
I want to give a shout out to the replay gang. We thank you for tuning in and for watching us. We love for you to share, follow, whatever it is you need to do on that particular channel so that you don't miss any episodes. Oh, my goodness. Today we're going to get on with This Week in Tech, and we're going to be talking about, what happened this week in 1800s, 1900s. Think about that. 1900s. Doesn't that sound crazy to talk about it as a
Don't make me laugh. I'm going to call.
I was born in the 1900s. That is too wild. Oh my goodness. So are we ready with This Week in Tech? Oh,
Yes,
great.
I am.
Let's
Okay,
roll.
so I'm just going to hit a few things. All of these things that we're talking about has led up to where we are now in technology. And I keep thinking about it, man, it just keeps stacking on top of stack and on top of stack, and it gets better and faster and better and faster, and we're doing more and more and more. So October 3rd, 1950, AT&T Bell Laboratory researchers John Bardeen and Walter Bertan and William Shockley received a U.S. patent for their invention of the transistor, which they had successfully demonstrated 2 years earlier. And mind you, when people do stuff like this, there's nobody sometimes footing the bill for this.
Yes.
It's a passion. They're using their resources. Wives are probably looking at them like, what are you doing? That's the money for the kids' college. What are you doing? These things were done. And it says here the transistor completely revolutionized the development of electronic and computerized technology.
Yes. I remember I had a little transistor radio girl. I thought I was the bomb because I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, getting Wolfman Jack from New York City.
So my next, I'm going to jump around here.
Okay, so I'm going to jump you around just a second.
October 6th.
Do this.
1942. Chester Carlson is issued a patent on a process called electrophotography, now commonly known as photocopying.
All right.
It was not until 1946 that a company had any interest in pursuing photocopying commercially. So there again, he's spending his money, he's putting it out, and that was 1942. 1946, the Haloid company finally licensed his patent and created the word xerography to differentiate the process from traditional photography. Eventually, photocopying became such a large part of the company's revenue that Haloid changed their name to Xerox.
Makes sense.
So when we hear Xerox, we think automatically copy. Right? That's the Xerox machine. Where's the Xerox machine? You're copying or whatever. So you're hearing this is the same way. Is it is it a noun now or a verb?
Google.
Okay, English people. Can you get Xerox there for me?
Yeah. Like the tissue is Kleenex and copying a Xerox. The brand name took over the I guess the item. So instead of saying the item, we say the brand because it's so synonymous with each other.
And today that item is
Google. Google that.
Google that, but Zoom. Right now,
Oh, you
Yeah.
okay?
Are we going to do that on Zoom?
That's
Well,
another. Mm-hmm.
Or Zoom it? Yeah.
that was one of Zoom is one of many options.
Yes.
Zoom has the recognition and uh, the ear of it now.
Yes. Synonymous.
It's synonymous, correct. And October 9th, 1896, Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Watson demonstrate the first two-way phone call over outdoor wires. Bell and Watson made their call between the cities of Boston and Cambridge. First phone call over outdoor wires. Before, okay, because before you probably had a string and a can long enough to. Okay. But that's
progress.
It's very much progress. And then my final story today, October 5th, 2011. How many years ago was that? Man, that's a long time.
Seems like forever.
Right. Steve Jobs passed away after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. Technology visionary and founder of Apple passes away. His contributions to the technology industry are undeniable. Together with Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs started the personal computer revolution with their Apple II computer. After being forced out of Apple, Jobs went on to found Next, Inc., and then purchased Pixar, the company that would redefine the animated motion picture industry. In 1997, Apple purchased Next, which brought Jobs back to Apple, and the technology developed at Next was used as the foundation for Apple's future operating systems, Mac OS and iOS, both of which we use right now.
Mm-hmm.
By introducing the iPhone and iPad, he ended the PC era he created, kickstarted the new world of technology, and led Apple from the brink of collapse to the most valuable company in the world. That's your week in tech history.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, am I muted?
No, Terry, no, TJ.
Because I know I muted myself to sneeze. I was like, did I turn it?
I know. We don't want to scare anybody.
Yeah,
but
my sneezes are loud.
Yeah, it's allergy season here in Sacramento. We are the city of trees, and I have been walking, so you may hear a cough now and then. However, don't be alarmed. I do want to talk to you now about wearables, because I know this is something that TJ loves.
Yeah, I love that topic.
Yeah, I was looking at wearable options in medical devices.
Okay.
So I found this article about a blood pressure watch that monitors your blood pressure. And I know you say, this thing can happen on other devices, but this particular one actually inflates. You know how when you go to the office
it
to put the pressure on the vein so they can read it, this actually inflates and it takes your real blood pressure, not an estimated blood pressure, and feeds it to the cloud. And so it sells for $4.99. I think I have a picture of it. Let me see if I can share my screen and go in here. I think it's on the Chrome tab. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little,
you might do this.
Is it blurry? Or is it me?
No, it's just, is it a video, Terry?
Yes. I don't know. Let me check and see if there's a video. Actually, I think there might be. Hold on.
Anyway, I can read some of it. I can't read everything.
It says the design of HeartGuide involved more than 80 new patents for miniaturizing the components for traditional osteometric measurement, using an inflatable cuff within the watch band to take a blood pressure reading. And this is a key differentiator that sets the Heart Guide apart from other wearables that rely on sensor technology, which only provide blood pressure estimates. As a leader in medical device technology, Heart Guide combines innovation and practicality to help you take charge of your health. And you can see right here, the price is $499. Okay. So let me go over here and stop sharing. So I thought that was interesting.
It is.
Because it is like a dedicated device.
Okay.
Versus an overall health monitor. Because, we've got a lot of different devices. We got our Apple Watch, we got our Fitbit, etc. But this one is concise and is really a medical tool. The other thing I wanted to share with you.
Well, let me say a bit about the watch before, if you're moving on.
Okay.
Honestly, I would not buy that because Apple is going to have that, and you can see the progression with their watch. They started with the EKG. You can put your finger on the crown, and you get your heartbeat and stuff. Now they added blood oxygenation level, your pulse ox, that measure the amount of oxygen in your blood. And I was just thinking the other day, that's going to be the next step when they really do that. The Apple Watch Series 7, whatever, will take off. So buying that for $499, I don't see it, because you could get the Apple Watch, which has much more features for the same price, if that makes sense.
It absolutely made sense. That's why I was looking at that sentence where it said this is the differentiation, the fact that it actually inflates, etc.
Right. Believe me, Apple was working on that, because you could see their progression with health. With the Apple Plus, the subscription, with the exercise, and now the watch does it. They're doing it in increments, which is really smart. So I'm just saying, anybody thinking about buying this watch, you know, unless you got it like that, where you can buy both or whatever.
Or you have an immediate need.
Oh, you have immediate need, but I would wait, because Apple is going to bring this blood pressure.
Here's another possibility too, Terry. If it's covered by your plan.
Right. I would wait, because you can see the progression with Apple and Fitbit and the health connection, and it's going to be connected, like Carolina said, to your health plan, your health insurance. So if you do healthier things, your deductible will be lower, your plan premium will be lower, because you're doing things, because the watch will tell your doctor and possibly an insurance. Now we're getting into if you got a privacy issue or whatever, I don't know what to say, because you can see the progression of this is what's happening. That's why I love the wearables, because it's going to be to where we're not even going to wear a device. I think I said that a while back.
I saw an undershirt with little readers in it also for heart monitoring.
Yeah, it's going to be woven in some kind of special fabric that somebody's working on. And it's going to breathe and tell you this and that. You can see it. It's not here yet, but you can see it. I'm just saying.
Well, I did see an article about an undershirt, and it had little pockets in it. Right. And the fiber in the undershirt allowed it to transmit.
See, it's already being developed.
Yeah,
because you can see how people wear instead of I'm trying to think of what the medical condition is, but instead of a big bulky device, they put a patch on you, or they put something on
monitor.
You.
Yes,
right. They put it's not a big bulky monitor. They put like a Band-Aid on you. And that thing monitors you, so you can see the progression of wearables. I'm just saying that everybody don't.
Which gets back to what's it called? Transistors and micro.
It's gonna be thin. It's gonna be something you wipe on your arm. It's gonna be lotion. It's gonna be all kind of stuff. I'm just saying, get ready, people.
It's gonna be Star Trek and the Jetsons.
Yes, it will, because you can see it.
It's happening right now. I'm like, Star Trek. I mean, everything. I was like, whoa. They do this to tell you what's going on with your body. They don't even do
all the stuff that was in they just get it in the sky, in the air.
They'll be able to.
Minority Report. Remember that movie, Tom Cruise? It's happening. I don't know what to tell. I'm just saying, the people that are just resistant to it, it's coming. So
Skynet, all of it. Total Recall.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's coming. I mean, I'm not talking about the good or bad of it. I'm just saying that that's what's happening.
And see, technology is a tool. I'm going to say this because technology is a tool. The tool is not good or bad. The people who use the tool
That's
are
right.
good or bad. It's not the tool.
It's not the tool. Don't blame social media. Don't blame technology. These are the things that people are creating because it makes something easier.
Right.
Instead of you going to the doctor, now we do telemedicine. Remember,
Absolutely.
before the pandemic, who was doing telemedicine? Not that many people.
Well, I was, but that's okay.
So yeah, I just want to
understand the convenience of technology.
Yeah, but my hospital allowed it. Yes, but it has definitely pumped up.
Look, speaking of that, I was looking at my phone. I got a text message saying, stuck at home and need to talk to the doctor or therapist. You can have a virtual visit with the healthcare provider 24/7 from your phone, laptop, and or tablet. See that? It's here. So,
and it's pushing the medical industry to get better at doing that too. And so there's not that whole you got to drive all the way there. You're sitting in the office, then it's 15 minutes, and they see you for 15 minutes, and you're in and out. You understand what I mean? Yeah. And then you're not. My mom is a nurse in the hospital, and she has always told me this. If you got to go to the hospital, get in there and get out. Why? Because the germs and everything.
Yeah, there's sick people there. I'm sorry.
You get in and get out. Don't
linger. Don't be going to the gift shop to shop.
So let's try to do the things that keep us from going in the first place.
Absolutely.
And that keeps you from being exposed to all of that because you are in your environment and you can just tell the doctor what's going on. A lot of people who were perfectly fine went into the environment, picked up a bug, and not knowing, just picked it. Okay, there's stuff flying everywhere. Just if you can do it at home and they can treat you, let them do it.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I do have one more article that I thought might be interesting, and this is about prosthetics. So I'm gonna so I'm gonna see if I can screen share this. Let's see, and get into. Oh, I hope I didn't delete it. This is a different article. I don't want to go down that road. Okay.
When prosthetics are being used, I mean, they are doing some stuff now where stuff reacts to your what is it? Your body signals, your.
Yep, but since I can't, what? Let me say this because I'm not going to show that article. What they did was they came up with a device that fits inside of the prosthetic to monitor when the person is using it, not using it, their pain level, because they found that people, if they get it home and it's not comfortable, they're not using it. So this allows them to monitor it, and for them to connect with the doctor and let them know what's going on. They can make adjustments and make a better prosthetic based on the metrics of what they're learning from this little device. And it's about the size of a earpod case, and it hooks into the side of the prosthetic and gives them readings. And so we will be able to provide better and better care. In addition to that, I am going to share this little quick article because I thought this was important because the storms are coming. And so let's see. Share your screen.
That's weird.
Okay, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay. It says AT&T and Hanger create industries. Oh, this is it. Create industry's first network connected device for prosthetic limbs. So I'm going to play the video so you can see it real quick. And I do believe I told it to. Oh, let me go into here and start the video.
It all starts with a conversation.
Okay,
The
can y'all see
AT&T
that?
Foundry helps customers explore the art of the possible. Hanger is innovative in their fields. They are the leading prosthetics and orthotics company in the U.S.
We see about 1 million patients a year between 700 and 800 clinics across the United States.
Our CEO has a vision of becoming the most connected orthotic and prosthetic company in the world.
Hanger came to us with a need to gather more information about the use of their prosthetic after a patient has left the clinic.
How many people have you heard of who get their leg, try it out, it's painful, and it ends up in the closet?
Right.
So we're going to be able to see this and be able to identify pathways to help them.
Not only is it just cold hard data that you can actually monitor, but I think the cool thing is that it opens up the line of communication between like patients and prosthetists.
The process with the Foundry was really a great collaborative experience.
They have a cross-functional team. So they have mechanical engineering experts, electrical engineers, software.
You've got to have your circuit that's actually going to measure the motion. So this is what's called an MPU 9050. We're using an LTE-M cellular module there, and that's what's going to transmit all that data. All of these metrics can really be captured with one sensing module we have. This motion sensor that we put in allows them to capture all this information in real time. So they're able to keep track of not just step counts, but their activity and how well each step is actually taken.
So there will be a mobile app that you'd be able to download as well.
So here, I mean, this is on MTX, so it's showing you all the data points that are coming in. This is all the raw information, basically.
Okay. Using that device and adopting it in the first 6 weeks is really a good barometer for the rest of their life and how mobile and how active they're going to be.
Ultimately, mobility is tied to quality of life and patient satisfaction. So we want our patients to be as mobile as possible to reach their highest potential.
We can help empower them to reach their goals and have higher mobility throughout the rest of their life.
I think there's a whole realm of possibilities of what we're going to learn with a device like this. It's not a job, it's a calling. We get up every day to help empower patients to reach their potential.
Our goal is really to improve the health of individuals and also expand people's minds to what is possible through healthcare technology innovation.
So that was the that was the video that I was talking about that I thought I didn't have, but I did because it was labeled different up in the tab. So I wanted you to see the guys jumping and swimming, and I thought,
wow,
you know,
and see, this is where healthcare technology takes you. So we started with the history where these people are playing in the garage, tweaking stuff, getting yelled at by family because they're in there messing with stuff. But that set the tone for everything.
mm-hmm.
For that going all the way up to the now, people who need a prosthetic can actually function and do and be, and it removed limitations for them.
And I love the fact that they close with, it's not a job, it's a calling.
Right.
Because it is a calling. Because if you treat it as a job, you're not going to care as much.
Exactly.
Right. The job situation where people put stuff in, like when they do it, like TJ just said, when you do it for a job, if they don't pay you enough, you'll walk. If they don't recognize you, or if you're not going to stay committed to that.
True.
So that's what I have this morning, guys.
Very nice. So TJ, what's happening in social media?
Well, this week in social media, there's been a lot of news. Instagram has been throwing out this, that, and the other. So much stuff. Google has done some things. So I'm going to start with Google because I want to also connect them with some of the other platforms. So Google, and I'm bringing them up because they are changing the G Suite platform, and they're changing the name and calling it Google Workspace. Now everything works the same. The Google Docs, the slides, the Google Sheets, and I think there's another part of Google Suite. They're just changing the name and they're changing some of the icons. And changing icons seems to be a big thing now. With Instagram did some things this week, so I'm going to get to that. But I wanted to bring that up in case you use Google, which I do a lot, and I use Google Mail and I use everything else. You're going to see it change to Google Workspace, and the icons will change. Also, they're beefing up the security on your Google account. So they're going to have an alert that pops up, not in your mail, but it's going to pop up on your phone if someone is trying to log into your Google account. So now, Google will send you an email saying, oh, so-and-so is trying to log in the UK. Is that you? And I'm like, no, I'm in New York. So they will send you an email. But now, because, the email may be compromised, they're going to send it to your phone app. So if you have Google or your Google Mail on your phone, it's going to come through there. So I think that's a good deal because, it comes to the phone instead of your email. Okay. So that's Google. Twitter's not doing anything this week. They're dealing with, who, the orange one. So we're not going to discuss that. Facebook. That's why I mentioned Google, because Facebook, Google, Apple, and Amazon have been on the hot seat this week because they had, the whole hearing about their monopoly or, the ruling on, are they monopolizing the market?
Okay, but there are 4 companies, so that can't be the monopoly, right?
Well, they're saying, each one of them. They're saying Facebook, and let me go to, this is CNBC that I pulled up. I wanted to read. It says, Facebook is a social media monopoly that buys, copies, or kills competitors, antitrust committee finds. So the House Antitrust Subcommittee determined Facebook wields monopoly powers in social network and has maintained its position by acquiring, copying, or killing its competitors. This report was released by the subcommittee on Tuesday. So they say how they base this is they're saying that Mark Zuckerberg suggested to the Instagram co-founder Kevin Systrom that refusing to enter into a partnership with Facebook, including an acquisition, would have consequences for Instagram. Okay, so that's what
they could have said. Okay, Snapchat said no.
And not only that, what are they saying? That he threatened them if they didn't sell?
Well, that's what they're saying, that he didn't threaten them. He just mentioned some language.
It sounds like negotiation tactics.
But look at this. Look what Facebook does. We just mentioned Snapchat. Facebook wanted to buy Snapchat and they said no. So what does Facebook do? They went and copied the Snapchat features and put them in Instagram. The same thing with TikTok. They wanted to buy TikTok. TikTok was like, no thanks. What do? Now they got Reels in there, and they have people that are reverse engineering and studying those features in other apps and putting them in Instagram. They also bought WhatsApp. Remember those things that they did?
Okay, so here's my point. Don't they do that in regular industry?
Yeah, they do it in fashion all the time. It's called knockoffs.
And there's like, okay, so people are buying. There's a company who sells tennis shoes. Or I'm gonna make my own tennis shoes, and I'm gonna put a circle on it instead of a square. It is the same thing. So what is the problem?
Well, this is their finding. So
you said don't take the messenger. I remember
this was I think when Senator Warren started this ball rolling like a year or so ago about breaking up these apps, but Facebook in particular, because they bought, if they couldn't buy them, they copied them. And
and I can see that is how a monopoly creates itself. If they see a competitor,
but
before the competitor becomes truly
they're
profitable.
saying monopoly-like. They're saying monopoly-like activities. But like Fran says, it's social media. we're in an area now where if you're a smaller app, you can't break through because the big guys are there, but they're big because of you. So what do you they're big because of the users. What are you supposed to do?
Because it is the industry. It's the nature of the industry.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so this is going back to your unique selling proposition. What makes you valuable above everybody else? You're not going to have everybody. You will not be Amazon. Do you understand? And Amazon is just like Walmart. Walmart and Amazon are the two same thing. Walmart is just brick and mortar. Amazon is online.
And
Same
Walmart's trying to catch up with the online business because they see that Amazon is leaps and bounds ahead of them because they were forward thinking. So they should be penalized for being forward thinking and having a system in place before the pandemic. They didn't know the pandemic was coming. They were just doing what they're doing. We built this distribution system for books. And then Jeff Bezos said, hey, wait a minute. This can work for anything, not just books. So is he wrong?
No. And see, that's my point. I was like, whenever somebody doesn't, I'm just not going to be that broad. Right. Sometimes when people don't understand stuff, they want to kill it.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
I don't understand it, so I want to kill it. That's it exactly. So Amazon and Jeff Bezos is going to be penalized for being forward thinking and using technology in the way that it's supposed to be used. But he's got too much power. He's the $1 trillion man. But what do you want to do?
He wasn't. Where was he? Where was y'all when he was back in the garage
selling books?
Yeah, computers on his desk trying to keep everything going. Where was y'all then?
Because this was in the 90s. Back then, people weren't thinking about the internet. Remember, we were talking the other day about e-commerce. People were reluctant to hand over their credit card online to buy things. Now we just do it in a blink of an eye. Instagram has set up stuff this week that you can sell. You know, from boom, I want that, and it's done.
Yeah.
So where's the monopoly of? We caught, y'all was sleeping and Amazon and Apple and these guys are moving things forward in a technology format for society. And like Fran said, they're mad because they don't understand it. They don't understand it. So let's break it up.
You can't do that. Hey,
this ties into the wearables we were talking about. Wearables are happening, people. You gonna stop it?
I don't think it's that, I think the real motivation is that they can't control it.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Because we can't
control issue.
They're making money and we're not getting any of it.
We got to find a way to tax it. We got to find a way to tap into it so that we can get more out of it because they see it growing more than brick and mortar. And this is where the revenue is going to be.
This is what they said when Henry Ford came with the horseless carriage. Oh my God. And because now I learned this in a class I was taking. Henry Ford started he started an electric car.
Yeah.
But the combustible gas people would not have it. They were like
out of business.
Yeah. Because okay, well, it was a monopoly then. So
same thing now. They want, they don't like Tesla and all because it's like, well, you must rely on gas, and we're like, no, we need to move away from gas and coal.
Well, the thing is, too, everybody is trying to get some kind of electric car because they know that's where it's going, and you can see it in some of the traditional car companies. Everybody's got something that plugs in.
And then the oil companies are going to need to rethink what they do. You better get cracking on plastics or something.
Right, but the right has been on the wall for a while, so don't penalize the people that were forward thinking with the technology because you're mad because you can't control it and you didn't think about it.
There you go.
I mean, really. So there's a lot of denigration of technology and social media, and I don't stand for that. Like we were talking about The Social Dilemma, that film on Netflix, I'm not going to watch because they're mind controlling us.
Oh,
no, they're not. How can an app mind control you? You control your mind.
You control your phone. Nobody asked you to look at it. Nobody asked you to download. We didn't tell you to download the app.
when parents go, oh, the kid on the you pay for it, it's yours. You control it.
There you go.
And you went out and bought it.
Yes, take it away.
And you went and downloaded the app.
You don't like it, don't use it. I don't. I mean, I know, and let's talk about. I know there's the bullying and the hate speech and the child stuff, but you're supposed to be the parent that controls all that. Oh, it's too hard. There's so many apps. Learn them. I think I said this on Tuesday. I was like, learn the stuff that you don't know, so you can know what's going on with you. I'm on TikTok. I'm like, my kid is gonna be on TikTok. She wasn't, but now she is. But I'm like, now I know TikTok, so I know, the ABCs, the ins and outs. Don't say, well, I don't know. Just
educate yourself.
Okay, so here's the thing. You're at home now with the kids. Both of y'all get on TikTok and learn.
But there's lots of complaints about people wanting to drink wine to get away from their kids. What?
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't understand that.
It's like, why? Okay, so the real you is coming out right now.
Yes, the real you is coming out.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so we're gonna get back to social media. So that's what's going on with the big four. I guess we can call them. They're coming for them and want to break them up. That's to be seen as to what they do as punishment or what they're. I don't know.
It's so if you take your time and pull yourself up from whatever you started and create a company that's helping people and doing stuff, and then you just happen to get paid for doing it.
A lot of money.
Now, they're coming after you because the pitchforks and the torches are coming because they don't like you.
Yeah, they don't have it. They can't control you. They were forward thinking with technology. They're moving forward. Oh, we're going to break you up.
And by the way, they're using the stuff that they're trying to.
Yeah.
Girl, they did the same thing with the railroads, with the phone company, come on.
Exactly. I'm going to break you up, Google, but I'm using Google Docs.
Exactly. I've got a slide deck that I want to show you.
Exactly.
Right.
Apple, you're through, Apple, but let me pick up my iPhone and call the rest of the. Yeah, absolutely.
Let me set up this Zoom on my iPad or my iPad or my computer.
Wait a minute while I Google that and get back to you with an answer.
Exactly. I need to read somebody on Facebook Messenger. Could you hold for a minute, please? This is the problem with having dinosaurs in office. I'm not saying that there is nothing wrong, that there's anything wrong with
dinosaurs who don't keep up or just dinosaurs.
No, not just dinosaurs. That's not even it. You could be 500. It doesn't matter as long as you want change and you're ready to keep up. The problem is that they don't want change and they don't want to keep up. So when people present them with things where people have to adjust, it's a problem. So let's just get rid of everything altogether. Now, and I'm just coming in, so yay, sorry I'm late. But I have an issue on both ends. I have an issue with this whole thing of trying to break them up because you're saying they're monopolizing, but I also don't think that they're scot-free in terms of trying to monopolize, right? I think their mission has been to all we have to do is really look at Facebook, who blatantly does it, right? The others at least lie.
That's what I said before you came in, I was saying that about Facebook. They're not innocent. What you're saying?
No, they're not. None of them are innocent.
But it just
but look at their I think you're about to say look at their practices. If they couldn't buy it, they copied it.
Exactly. So they try to corner the market so that they have all the market share, when the reality is there is room enough for everyone. Guess what? If somebody doesn't want to use Facebook, they will go to all these other things, but you still have a large majority of people who will still use Facebook regardless of the evil that you do, regardless of the privacy concerns. So there are some people that may grumble, but they will not leave you. So I don't know why, and this is across the board, you try so hard to have everything. Now, in Amazon's case, you just mastered what other people didn't necessarily want to do. While other people were trying to specialize, you were trying to have a marketplace. So you really didn't necessarily have, I mean, they do have inventory, but it's not yours per se that you're selling. It's other people's inventory that you are worried about. So you are you become a marketplace. Not a lot of other people were doing that. Everybody was trying to have all this inventory and sell and send it out themselves. So Bezos mastered that. Okay. Yes. But you don't have to do things so that you're the only one. Believe me, ordering online, what do people say? Let me just go on Amazon. People always say that. You don't have to do anything now.
Yeah, we were just saying that about Xerox. That was one of the tech history stories about Xerox. Instead of copying, we say Xerox. Instead of tissue, we say Kleenex. Instead of this, we say that. Instead Google search, we say Google. So that's what happens. It's because people want a shortcut to everything, which is why technology is taking over, which is why, like Dr. Taji says, people say, oh, we're going to delete Facebook. There's always a campaign to delete Facebook, but none of them do it.
They're not gonna do it.
They have a hashtag. Facebook. They never do it. Why?
Well, a billion people ain't gonna do it. That's for sure.
Why?
And my question is this, ladies, because I need some education here. How do you regulate a worldwide web thing? So what are they gonna do? Cut off the lights just in the U.S.?
I don't know how they're gonna do
like
it.
A cyber border. I
don't know what they're gonna do. That's the next. So they found monopoly-like tendencies, but what are they going to do? They don't know what they're going to do.
See, and okay, so their definition of monopoly, what are you using? That stuff that we had back in 1800s, 19.
They use the rulings from 18 whatever when they broke up
from the railroad, the steel industry.
Remember that. Right, that old term trust buster, right? What was the president that they called the trust buster? I can't remember, but that's really what they're trying to do. There hasn't been anything new or breaking ground in terms of legislation when it comes to that in a very long time, and it has to do with different administrations' approach and attitude towards all of this. So we already know in this administration. And it's not just the administration, it's across the board. There's I would say there's almost a quiet jealousy.
Yes.
When it comes to these things.
You see, yes, I agree.
I agree too. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay. But you still want to use all my stuff, but you don't want me to have none of it.
Right. You want me to profit from it.
What are they going to do for punishment? What?
This is what I'm saying. Especially if you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, okay, I want to control electricity, but I have no idea how it works. I only want to control it from stopping it from going into this part of the city and that part of the country. Come on, people.
But I remember very well when I was in the master's program that mass media, of course, has been my area of specialization throughout my college careers. And so I remember very well one of my favorite professors, Dr. Han, who has now since moved back to Korea. He used to have us read stacks of articles like this every week. We only had class once a week, but we had to finish reading all these articles by the time we were there. And I remember very well reading one article and then discussing it afterwards that said that it was too late. And this was like late 90s, okay? That in terms of control of the internet, it was too late. That if they wanted to have those types of controls, that this is something they should have started out at the onset of the internet after transition.
Out the barn.
Correct. And I remember they were like, it's just too late. And even then, it was still in a sense, in its infancy, even though the internet started as ARPANET, the Advanced Research Agency project, and that was for government and universities started using it.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me interject something.
I'm sorry.
So they had the control in their hands.
Yeah.
The government had it.
The government. It started as ARPANET. It was a government project.
Right.
The Advanced Research and Projects Agency, ARPANET.
Right.
It then became something used by universities for research. Then that was the progenitor of the World Wide Web. I think, and you know this very well, TJ, that the internet and World Wide Web are two different things.
Yes.
So the internet is the network of interconnected computers. The World Wide Web is the hypertextual pictures and video that is carried on the internet.
It's the visual interface that we all see and use. But the internet started, like Dr. Tati said, it started with the government as a connection of computers. Right.
Let it go.
Things really took off with the internet and the World Wide Web with with Mozilla, with not Mozilla, Mosaic and Netscape. If you remember the Netscape browser,
right?
That's when things started to take off visually. And that's what got us hooked into what we're doing now, because visuals hook you in. So once somebody decided to put that www layer on it and connect in and figure it out. So it's going out exponentially. Then we went to Web 2.0 and now we're in the apps, and the next thing is coming, wearables, this, that, and the other. So we're going to be connected, government. I don't know what you're going to do.
Nothing.
You're way behind.
Nothing. There's nothing they'll do. Don't mind them.
You had the control, didn't know what you had.
Correct.
Then someone else came and said, "Oh,
the internet was the goose that laid the golden egg.
We can do this, and this." And things begin to work together. People started coming up with stuff. And you never stepped in when you had the opportunity.
You know, I think the thing is that, and this is always the case with companies, with government, with people, we underestimate the power and the interest that people will have in said things. And because you underestimate it, when it does take off, you have nothing in place to, even if we don't want to say control, because I think control is a bad word when it comes to free market. Even if we don't want to say control, I think they didn't have the tools in place to keep an eye on it. Let's say that.
And I'm gonna tell you monitor. It's because of, and I love to talk about the younger generation. They poo-pooed them, laughed at them, didn't pay attention to them while they're back there building the things that make it work. It was all the younger generation. While we talk about the old guys, the old people in government, they didn't pay attention to it. So it's like,
they didn't want to pay for the upgrades. That's why we got all this.
They put the kid in the corner with the Tinker Toys, with the Legos, and the kid built a skyscraper, and you're mad.
Exactly.
You weren't watching. And this is where we are. So how are you going to pry the smartphone out of people's hands? They look at what happens with TikTok. People are like, you're not taking that.
No, it's not happening. It's not happening. I think that is the beauty of a free market system. Also, in the government's case, that is also the downfall of a free market system. That it's freedom and people can do as they want with it. But then the moment they start doing something that you deem is anti or not in the best interest of the government, the people, etc., you've now let the horse out of the pen. Is that whatever the hell the saying is?
Horse out of the barn, and it's too late. Horse is out of the barn.
Yes.
The pig is out of the
the bull is out of the pen.
Everything is out. You gotta chase it down, and you ain't catching it, government. You ain't catching it. Sorry.
Well, they have no people in place that understand it well enough to catch it.
Okay. You don't have the people.
Well, and the focus is in the wrong place.
Some of them.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on from that because we'll be talking about this for a while. This and the TikTok thing until it's done. But okay, I want to bring up some of the apps that we never talk about. Slack is one. Slack had a week where they were down on Monday, and there were all these memes about people not having. They don't have anything to do because all of their work activities were through Slack. WFM or WFH. What is it? WFH. Remember we were talking about this earlier? The acronym. Yeah, they don't say work from WFH. I was like, what the heck is that? Oh, okay. So Slack had a week, but now also Slack is getting into the stories business. I told you stories was the big thing. Stories is a big thing, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so let's talk about why stories is a big thing before I get into what Slack is doing. It's short form content. It takes a minute to consume. It's like the candy, the miniatures. That Halloween is coming, so now all the it's a little bite-sized candy, and you eat it, and that's good, and you go and move on. That's why stories is such a big thing. It doesn't take a lot of thought to making it. You pull up your phone, you say something, you put some stickers and things on it, and you send it on its merry way. So that's why people like it. It's short form. It doesn't take a lot to consume. I don't have to read War and Peace. I can watch a little 15, 30-second video that's going to explain everything. If the person set it up correctly, this is the deal. If the person is doing the story correctly, it can give you a bite-sized bit of information, and it's not taking up your whole day. Okay, so Slack is getting into the stories and push-to-talk audio calls, and they're doing this because of the shift to WFH, and everybody's adjusting to that. It's kind of looks like it's it's here. So I don't think we're going back to normal, whatever people like to say. They're doing it because they hope it cuts down on the constant video calls, excuse me, or inefficient text conversations. They want to bring back impromptu office interactions that most people haven't done. You're working in an office environment, and you walk past somebody's desk, hey, real quick chit chat, and you move on. So they're using stories for that because people are complaining about having online meetings that go on, and there's no purpose and stuff, when that could have been a little short email, or in this case, a little short video clip in the form of stories.
May I?
Yes.
So I people act as if technology is the problem, and it's a pariah in this case. But if you're long-winded in real life, hell, you're going to be long-winded on a Slack call, or on a video call. People act like, because of no, your behind was long-winded in the first place. So I wish people would stop blaming technology for the ill. You were ill-mannered. You didn't know how to wrap up a meeting. You didn't know how to talk to people in the first place. It's just now we all see it at once, as opposed to, individual meetings or small meetings that we have. Now you have these larger meetings, and now we can all see it. So, I think there needs to be, aside from the training with technology in enterprise, there also needs to be digital etiquette training that needs to happen. But nobody wants to spend the time or the money. Say again?
Good home training.
Training. Unfortunately, there are some people who don't have good home training, and it translates over into the office space. But, I think that's something that would be well worth, for the universities that I teach at, we do an awful lot of online training. So there's privacy training on cyber attacks and that type of thing. But there is nothing that really points to digital etiquette. I guess you assume because we already teach online, we know this.
Right.
Not everybody. So I think that it will be well worth the time for organizations to do, because we're moving into, never let mind we're moving. We are in a new age. We've been here. Some people just didn't want to participate. Now you have to participate. So as such, we need to adjust the way we acclimate people to these things. Digital training, digital etiquette. Yes.
So can I say this for all of us here? Why don't the four of us come up with digital etiquette, and we all put in our
meeting after this? Yep.
Yeah, because I'm like, we can write this.
We can. I'm so down. I am so down, because you know what I'm so tired of? People who actually don't have the knowledge or the know-how getting paid for courses that they don't bloody well know how to teach. Who said that? I did.
Who said that? I did.
That's called fraud, man.
It's fraud.
It's called perpetrating.
That too.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, TJ.
No, I was gonna say, because I got a whole bunch of Instagram stuff that I don't know if we want to be all day. If you wanted to keep talking about this.
Oh,
we're going to
Well,
put together a course on digital etiquette. That's what we're going to do.
absolutely.
and we wanted to get something in from media.
Yeah, I want to get so I want to get to this, finish this segment because there's a whole bunch of stuff that Instagram did. And I want to make sure you guys got it. So I wanted to throw in the Slack thing. So Instagram, I got like 5 things they did this week. Okay, so first of all, it's their 10-year birthday anniversary, whatever you want to call it, on October 6th, 2010. Yes.
I didn't know they were around that long. Does that sound right?
Because it was an app that photographers used first before it became this big social media thing. It was just an app that photographers were taking to show their they take their high def photo, with the settings and everything, and it was showing, we're not showing off, but showing their
show off their work.
Right. Showing off their work.
Their portfolio.
So Instagram brought back the classic icons to celebrate that. That means that you could change the way the icon looked on your phone. The way to find it was an Easter egg. You had to go into settings and something and pull your screen down, you spring it, and then it would pop up with all the different settings. So they had so many, I can't even list. I know they had a rainbow one. They had the old Polaroid camera looking one. They had some different colors, and they had a black one. So it's only for the month of October. Then it goes back to the regular Instagram icon. Okay, just a little bit of fun to celebrate happy birthday. Okay, number 2, Instagram is upgrading the audio feature in Reels. They're copying. Here we go. We were talking about it. They're copying TikTok. So they're adding features that make it easier for users to share and save audio clips, because that's something that TikTok does. They could share the audio. You can take the audio from a TikTok and put it in your video. And I've seen that this week with something my daughter showed me, talking about a cat with the wet toothbrush or something. So the lady was explaining about it, and then people took the audio and put it on with their cat. So it wasn't them talking. So you can take audio out of a TikTok.
So you take the audio files and
you can share it, you can take it out, you can share it, all that. So they want to do Instagram.
Go ahead.
So they're trying to get you to use Reels. So are we using Reels?
I've made exactly one reel.
Did you?
And that was really by accident.
Reels popped up, and I'm like, everybody's just dancing on Reels, and I'm like, why are we looking at this?
Yeah,
I'm like, this is not okay.
Right, but if you're doing TikTok videos, you can take them over. This is what people are doing: take them over to Reels and putting them up, because Reels is if you do a Reels, they're pushing your account so you can get more exposure, which means you get more followers. You know that deal. So that's what they're doing. Okay, number 3, Instagram makes old stories easy to find, and they also have some anti-bullying features. Now, this stories archive feature I like, because when you go to Instagram, you can see your old stories from whenever you started posting. I think it started in 2017. So you can reuse them, but it's kind of an odd way to scroll. So now they made a calendar format and another type of view map. They made a view map and a calendar view in your Instagram stories archive. Got it? No? Okay. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, never mind. I was going to just say something.
Okay, so and they also have an anti-bullying feature that attempts to automatically hide potentially abusive comments. And they also have a thing that discourages users from posting them in the first place. I think they did this earlier this year or last year, where if you have some keywords that trigger it, they'll say, do you really want to post this abusive comment? And then you can post it, but there's a caution light to say, do you really want to post this? So they did that. Now, number 4, Instagram brings shopping features to IGTV. So they've announced Instagram shopping on IGTV, and they're also going to start testing shopping features on Reels. So here we are back to, we were talking about shopping online. Now you can watch a reel or watch an IGTV video, and it'll take you to buy the item or the service. You can set it up in service too, that buy this thing that they're selling. So you watch the video and then you check out the products related to it. And it offers creators and influencers an easy way to monetize their IGTV channels and brands for merch. Merch. Now it's cool to say merch. It was merchandise, t-shirts, things, pillows, iPhone case, whatever you're selling, that's merch. So it lets you do that. So they're going to start doing that, and they're also going to do it with Reels. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, they're expanding capabilities for more types of content, IGTV Live and Stories, and the shopping and Reels. So that's going to make you're going to be able to monetize your Reels. So is that another thing that's going to make us use Reels?
I don't know. It's just like
well, you know what? I think for creators who are looking for ways to monetize anyway, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I listen, try out Reels because, like I said before, you'll get the attention. If you're selling merch or you're selling something, you have the opportunity now. They're not charging Facebook, but they will charge in the future because you're making, you're selling transactions, so they're going to take their cut, but they're giving you a little break now. So
you have enough money. Leave us alone.
All right, so here I think this is the last thing on Instagram. Instagram will automatically hide offensive comments on your post using AI. AI is artificial intelligence. So they're going to have a feature that automatically blocks offensive comments, and they're going to detect it by using previously reported offensive comments. So see, and this is how it works on YouTube. When you have a channel, you could put in words and phrases that if someone types it in when you're on a live or a comment, it will automatically not post it. So Instagram is doing the same thing. They probably have some kind of database or some kind of thing that will match words and phrases that are offensive or been voted or reported as offensive. And if you do that, then it's going to just automatically not show up on the person's account. You can tap on view hidden comments to see these hidden comments from the abusive comments from someone else. They will also automatically remove all comments that violate its community guidelines. This is in beta mode, so keep an eye out for it. And one more thing, they have a nudge feature that notifies someone when they're posting a nasty comment. Oh, that's the thing I mentioned before. It's called nudge. It'll pop up and say, do you really want to post this offensive comment? You say yes, it posts it anyway. But now they put AI on the back end for us, the account holder, to not see it or to push it to a place where we don't see it. We can go look at it later. Okay.
Mark says some have said that my intelligence is artificial. I don't think that it was a compliment.
Oh, Mark. Okay, so that's it. That's all of the Instagram had a whole bunch of stuff this week. Facebook and stories with Slack. Google did some things, so it's been a pretty active week.
And I want to mention this because if you upgraded to iOS, and then I'll let Dr. Tachi take us in.
Yeah.
If you upgraded to iOS 14, there have been some new security measures that you probably encountered. Mm-hmm. So I was going to Facebook after iOS 14. When I went into Facebook, it said, "Do you want to give?" My phone said, "Do you want to give Facebook permission to access selected pictures, all of your pictures, or none of your pictures?"
I've seen that.
So I clicked, I'll select pictures, and because I was posting something and I picked 2 pictures that I wanted to post. I went back to go and post some pictures, and I'm like, the only thing I had option to put was them 2 pictures. So I had to go and figure out how to set it so that I give them permission to access my camera roll.
Right. You have to go back to the site.
Why can't I do this online? It wasn't in the help for Facebook or anything. I couldn't find it.
Right.
I figured it out. You had to go back into Apple on your settings on your phone or your
app.
Whatever device you're on, and go and give it permission. You have to go down into Facebook, Photos, Facebook, and then
that happened to me.
it had the selections. but everything Apple has gone secure.
Yes.
We're talking, what is that place in Lexington, Kentucky?
Fort Knox.
Fort Knox.
Fort
They
Knox.
have gone Fort Knox. I was like, whoa, do you so and so wants to access your da 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 da. So I'm getting all of this. Do you want them to have access to this? And I think that's what Facebook and some of the other people were, oh my God, that that people are not going to want to allow us to come in for advertising and some other stuff. You can't just
listen. It might be annoying to some people, but I've seen it because I do a lot of cross copy paste from my desktop to the phone, and every time you do something like that, it pops up at the top in a little white button. Everything that happens that is previously been in behind the scenes is now to the forefront, and you want to see that stuff. You want
right. It tells you if somebody is accessing your camera.
Yeah.
It tells you if you're pasting from Safari, you're pasting from everything is
Yep.
like
It says where it's pasted from. Yep. Yep.
And so and I think it's good so you know what's going on. Like I'm like, because I have something that popped up. In my passwords. It tells me you've used this password on this place, and this place. We suggest that you change this, update it, and do this. This is on my keychain. On my keychain.
Okay.
And then it says your password is used. It's being used on this place, and this place. And one of them places, I'm like, what is that? I don't know who this company is.
Right.
And I went over to the company. And I'm like, and it said such and such.com. And I'm like, I don't know who this is. So I immediately changed my password for that particular account. But I was like, I am so glad it was telling me you might want to change this password because you're using it here and you're using it there and you're using it over here.
And see, we need those reminders because, like I said, that things happen in the background that now they're to the foreground, and you're like, oh, I need to fix that, or oh, I didn't know that was happening. So that was stuff was happening behind the curtain, and now it's not. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It is. And so that is your little tidbit on security.
We need that.
That was really helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Apple has gone Fort Knox. I was like, dang.
Oh, I'll mention. I do believe if you have Android, your Google account, you can go into your set. There's so many settings in Google in your account. There's also a setting that shows you things that are connected to your passwords and stuff. You can also do the same thing there. You go into your Google account settings.
Okay.
So security has been stepped up, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. So
it really is a good thing because I'm like, oh, I don't need you to be in my stuff. Okay.
But you want to know. So don't get annoyed with the two-factor authentication as for the code, the things are you pasting, copy and pasting back and forth, and they pop up on your device.
You have, and I'm getting notifications. You just signed in on another device.
Yes. And Google's doing the same thing. I said earlier that they're doing the two-factor authentication. If they check the security, if it's from a location that you're not, they will send you the notification in the app now. So
this is good stuff. They're locking security everywhere. So
they have to. People are trying to get crafty with it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now on to media. What do we got going on over there?
Lots going on. A few things that I want to pick out. But before we go on, I don't know, TJ, if you talked about the fact that TikTok is now banned in Pakistan. So
no, I didn't mention TikTok.
Breaking news.
No,
okay. Breaking news. It just came out that TikTok is now banned in Pakistan because of indecency and some other things. So
okay.
It just flashed across the screen, so I just wanted to mention.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, cool. And I'm sorry. One thing about TikTok in the U.S., we have until November 12th because it's in the court now. So the judge banned the ban, and now everything's on hold till November 12th for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And they actually, the U.S. is appealing the injunction against TikTok.
Yeah.
So there we go. Anyway, on to more media stuff. Now, I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole with this, believe me, but I think it's important that we notice it. ABC News has announced that there is going to be a town hall with Joe Biden on the same day that the second presidential debate has been scheduled. Now, if you remember, there was back and forth between, because the person who currently occupies the White House has COVID-19 or whatever the case may be. Yeah. There was concerns by the debate committee about that. They suggested going virtually, to which he said no. So he said he'll just do a rally instead. So then Biden said that he's going to do a town hall on the same day that it would have been. And so that's just to let you all know that that is happening. The person who will moderate that town hall will be George Stephanopoulos from ABC News. And that will be on October 15th. So we have a week. Yeah. So that is one thing that is happening. Now, let's talk about theater, shall we? And I mean movie theaters. I talked about this on Wednesday. I think it's apropos that we bring it up here.
Yes.
Regal Theaters, parent company Cineworld, are closing over 500 of their U.S. operation theaters, and I think 100 and something overseas because of, COVID, basically. So this happened yesterday that they closed them. 536 theaters, 7,076 screens.
Wow.
Will be black. Basically, theaters will be dark. They're shutting their doors for the second time. Now, you remember at the beginning of the pandemic, all theaters were closed. They had shut their doors and then reopened. But now it's, not happening. So that's unfortunate because this means a loss of 45,000 jobs.
Wow.
That's a lot of jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, so actually over 45,000 jobs. They'll lose their jobs or be furloughed. So, in some cases, if you're furloughed, you might as well not be working. So it depends on how much they're. Furlough is not fun. So there's no timeline for them to reopen. And I venture to say, unless they hurry up and get in that room or get on that Zoom call and make some serious plans, they may not reopen. They have not done a good job of pivoting at all during this. Instead of, doing
they missed the whole drive-in thing.
Yeah, and then you see Mark's comment. I was just going to say about Broadway. When Broadway opens up, that's maybe when the movie theaters can open.
Right. And the thing with Broadway is so contingent upon the experience of being there live. Movies are already pre-recorded. It's the experience of watching with other people. But, for all intents and purposes, you can recreate to an extent that experience at home. And many people have attempted to do that by building movie rooms, etc. This is nothing new. But with theater, the live experience of live theater is really what does it. Being there, in the first few rows, or if you can't afford, you're going to be in the nosebleed seats, or, believe me, that's usually where I am. $29, put me up there. So, it's contingent upon an experience. And I think Broadway theater is really going to suffer, and it's really going to suffer because they don't have. They make money, but remember, this is still the arts, and the arts generally are underpaid and anyway, and underfunded, and underprofited anyway. So, we're talking about something completely different than the Hollywood studio system where there are millions at stake. There are millions in Broadway, but when you look at these people that are involved in it, from anywhere from the, the people that are working on sets, the people that are calling the show, the people that are acting, it's some are making money, some are not. And we're looking at, not every Broadway show is a huge superstar hit. Not every show is on Broadway. There's a lot of off-Broadway stuff too.
You see, I've thought a lot about it because I'm here in New York, and I'm like, this thing with COVID and the pandemic is the distribution. People still want entertainment. They're in their homes. How are they going to get it? there should have been a system of, okay, the Broadway play can go on without the audience. The audience would be, okay, I pay whatever and I watch it on my home theater. Like Dr. Tati said, people got things set up the way they're doing the movies now. Amazon Prime was doing, the Trolls movie and a couple other movies. You paid
and Hamilton.
Yeah, you paid $19 and you watch it on your TV. So I'm like, get a little something. Yeah, you're not going to get the full Broadway experience. And okay, we got to move away from that because you can't be inside. Same thing with the movie theater. They should have thought of this and seen it coming. Netflix, hello, and the others. You're inside. People still want the content, but they won't go and get it. So you got to figure out how to give it to them where they are.
You need to do live premieres with things. So if it's a movie, for example, you're streaming it, not only a live premiere. Tonight we have the director such and such. Tonight we have one of the main actors such and such.
They had the Andrew Lloyd Webber that had he was putting the Broadway shows on YouTube.
Right.
That got a lot of people watch. So I understand the shutdown of sitting in the seat and watching it here, but we got to figure out how to make the experience different. Broadway and theaters instead of closing. How do we? So that's what I'm saying. There's that breakdown of they don't want to think about it. We had months to think about it. So
yeah.
I think it's a shame that all these people are going to lose their jobs, but it had to be. So
it does have to be, and it's unfortunate, but that is on the company. And believe me, when I say pivot, I am not purporting that it is easy to pivot. However, that's like saying that, okay, for some reason you need to get out of the house because, God forbid there's a fire or something. All the doors are closed, but you've never tried the windows to know if they work. So now you can't get out. So that is exactly what the movie industry, what the theaters are doing. And to a lesser extent, Broadway, because they have always banked on having behinds in seats.
Yeah.
What happens if they can't? You don't know that you can do anything else because you never tried to open the window. So now everybody is vigorously trying to get all the, the cobwebs and leaves to try and open the window when you should have been opening your windows before.
And I bring that up because I've seen a lot of the talk shows are now back in production, but they don't have a studio audience. But they're in production. Tamron Hall, a couple other places. They're in the studio with just the camera, the talent, and the people work behind the scenes, but no audience. So how is it getting distributed? TV.
Right.
So why isn't somebody thinking of that? It's been since March. Broadway and movie theater guys.
This offers tremendous opportunity for all of us in this space because we all said and we all noticed when everybody first started shutting off theater studio audiences and they couldn't do anything. People were doing things from home. How woefully unprepared these hosts were, not only the hosts, the tech people, but how woefully unprepared the hosts were to engage us without having anybody there to laugh, to throw stuff off and let
or tell them when to talk, do their hair. This
will show the truly talented. If you can do what you do without I know you need the live reaction, but now it's like, okay, I gotta condense it and make it different for a smaller audience. Can I do that creatively? Yes, you can, but you had to work on it. And like Tati said, okay, the door is locked, but there's a window over there.
Okay, can I show you guys something? This is in San Francisco, the San Francisco Symphony when I used to go. So let me share this this image. Share the screen. There's no video. I don't think there's any audio.
Okay.
And let's see, go to Chrome tab.
No, I'm still thinking about, because we talked about this when the pandemic was first happening, about people changing their thought process of reaching the audience. So
okay, so this is San Francisco 1-to-1. This is the guy is playing to an audience of one.
Yeah, I think I heard about this.
And they did a series of different people, the cellist and the flautist and different people, so that the symphony is still going on, but they decided to do one-to-one, and patrons had paid for this.
Yeah.
And they picked people from the audience. What is it? Our healthcare workers, different people were able to experience stuff. So they're still doing stuff like this. And then there's different people. But I was like, that is ingenious.
Right.
They didn't stop.
Because people still want the music. They just don't want to go to it.
But I'm sorry.
I don't.
Can you imagine, though, if we did not have things like music and entertainment during all of this, how much more difficult it would be for us to cope? I think the fact that, all you have to do is look at D Nice, the DJ that has been doing all these club quarantines on Instagram. All you have to do is look at a lot of these people who have started engaging audiences during the pandemic, because it uplifts people's spirits, and it uplifts their spirits as well, the performance spirits as well. So can you imagine if we did not have that? So as such, I think going into the future, that this is what we need. We need to future-proof that, and especially the arts. Mark put the Broadway.com, where there's things going on at Broadway.com, but it doesn't have the same draw that the movie industry. Broadway is a very specialized audience. In fact, it wasn't really until Hamilton that you had regular everyday people trying to go and see a lot of Broadway shows. Obviously, if you're a New Yorker and you grew up in New York, that's something that's part of what you do. Not everybody, but part of what many New Yorkers do. But if they have the program Broadway across America that has tours these major shows in different cities, that's a very specialized audience of arts patrons. The average person is not going to go. So whereas movies are something that the masses go to, this is something that I used to teach, and I don't believe in high culture and low culture. I don't believe in that, but this is something that I used to teach, that they have
more of an interest factor than a
high culture being high culture, or high forms of entertainment being things that transform and elevate society. So the symphony, the theater, play, that type of thing, and low culture at the bottom would be like television, would be like reality television, would be movies, those types of things. So I don't believe in that. I think they all merit and have their own worth and value in society. But again, high culture is highbrow, and that's something like Broadway would be. It doesn't necessarily appeal to the masses, even if it tries to appeal to the masses. So because it's in the arts, they're going to have a rougher time of it than the movie industry will. So, moving on.
Mark has a suggestion too.
Go ahead, Mark.
About how to monetize this.
I want to hear.
So Mark says, here's what I would do. I would hire an ensemble in rep and keep them and tech crew in quarantine and have them perform shows in rotation. Think Stratford Shakespeare Festival, where there is a rep company, and film them with monthly and seasonal subscribers, as well as higher price single admissions.
Right. Create a Broadway bubble and have the production rotate. Yeah.
You mean because the NFL, not the NFL, the NBA did a bubble.
I'm glad you brought that up, because see, the NBA is work because they had a bubble. The NFL's not work because they don't have a bubble. Odd bubble, whatever you want to call it, but
I can't help folks who don't want to be helped. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
And that's what happens again when you have a lack of innovation at the top.
Exactly.
A lot of people that need to relinquish power will not relinquish power. There are a lot of people that are in positions that truly don't know what they're doing, even though they've had this position before, but they've been shuffled from company to company to company because they've had that first position, even if they didn't really deserve it or know what they were doing. Now, because they've had it, this allows allows them to go be the head of development at XYZ Media Company, the vice president of development at XYZ, and all the while, you're kind of learning, but you never really knew in the first place. So we really need to look at the talent pool of who we have there. It needs to diversify. It needs to be get younger. You value youth in terms of their dollar, but you don't want to hear from them if they're in the company. Exactly. What kind of incessant nonsense and rubbish is that? So that's the only way we're going to start to get through these things. I don't know how many times you want me to say it.
Exactly. The youth brings the vitality and the newness to any industry, and like you said, they didn't want to listen to this and that. And also, I think it's expectations of, okay, you're not going to get Broadway the way you got it, guys that own the theater. How about get a little bit of something versus zero? Have some people working. Yes, you're not going to have 100% full production, but have some people doing something. Save the industry a little bit. Release your expectations.
And you might be surprised.
Yeah,
right. You might be surprised, and that might mean, guess what? That
pare the production down.
Right, you use your costuming department a little bit less in terms of making stuff.
Remember MTV Unplugged? It was the artists and the music. It wasn't all this big. So Broadway Unplugged, pare it down and make it personal. Yes, you're not going to get all of the money you got before.
I think they're missing a real opportunity in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Symphony had a series for children, and we went to the symphony once a month, and you pay to go. And there are all these children sitting at home who need some culture. Can we do Peter and the Wolf and some different things, and have the
mindset, Terry.
Have the school district pay to stream it to their kids.
Was that the symphony? They need to do that with dance companies.
You see what I'm saying? Hook up to.
Yes, it's the distribution that's broken. Reconnect it somehow with that piece that you don't need anymore because there's no seats and people aren't going to it. So you got to think differently, people, and connect because we want entertainment.
And the teachers can make it an assignment to go to the symphony today. We're going on a field trip. Bam.
Yeah.
and the patrons who have been paying will continue to pay
because things are happening,
because this is what they're doing. But they're not going to be paying, and there's nothing happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And it won't be on the scale that it was pre-pandemic. To get that out of your head, that expectation has to go away.
I'm sorry. I'm just annoyed because I'm annoyed at the whole thing because I've never seen it. It shows, and I'm sorry to say this, with individuals notwithstanding, as a whole, culturally, we have lost innovation.
Yeah,
it's questionable to say whether or not it was there in the first place. Okay, but we're not innovative when it comes to things. We don't think outside of the box, and that's our own fault because we've been taught school, which I love. But it teaches you to follow rules and not make waves.
Yes.
And when you are only taught to sit down and fold your hands, you don't know what it's like to get up and do something else.
They're checking boxes.
You checking boxes, and that has flowed into the movie industry. That has flowed over into theater. That has flowed over into all these industries, the restaurants who don't know now how to pivot because something has happened. Well, what happened? Because you've been thumbs. Well, because that's what you've been taught to do. And in fact, don't twiddle them too hard or you get a demerit. So that's the problem.
Yes,
so this now goes to the education system. Once all this is done, all of you in the curriculum need to say, what are we going to do now to teach critical thinking and thinking outside of the box?
This is why you need younger voices.
Yes.
They can connect things the way we can't.
Absolutely. What we're doing is clearly not working. Okay?
Exactly.
And this is not to be a diatribe on the failure of the public school system or school system in general and higher ed. That's not it. But I'm saying that is a direct result of what is not happening in education.
It showed I'm tired. It exposed that it wasn't working.
I'm tired.
So
I think I think we need to
encourage the kids to step up and then be there to help guide them. Nope, I wouldn't do that. You won't say it like this. To supply the wisdom that they need, and coupled with their drive and innovation and that type of stuff. They just need somebody back here kind of
guidance.
Yeah,
provide guidance, but let them fly.
This is what myself and my colleagues do, like on the university level. The ones that I deal with and the ones that I know, we're all trying to get them to think outside of the box, trying to get them to do something different. Don't just go along with the status quo or the okie doke. Well, did you think about this? No, I think you could do so much more. Why not try this? But it's up to you at the end of the day, right? So that's all of our, because I'm sorry, we are doomed. If we can't even simply, it was such a simple concept. Hey, we can't go into theaters, but we could be outside, drive-in theater, screen on the green. It was such a simple concept. You can't even do that. And I mean, an orangutan in a tree could have come up with that.
Because they're sitting around waiting for normal. I hear it so many. Oh, when we get back, then I'm like, are you?
They keep talking about this.
Okay, how did that work for
you, people?
How did that? Now your normal is you're closed, Regal. How did that work for you? And I'm not trying to make light of this. I really am not. But it's just really tiring to see.
It's frustrating.
And frustrating to
it didn't have to be this way.
It did not.
And now we're going to be. Are you going to be the movie theater in Scorched Trials from the movie? That okay, they were all up in the mall. The mall was closed. Zombies had took over the mall. It was because you left the vacuum. Come on, you guys can. Now the theaters are sitting there. We got a brand new theater, Regal, right down the street. Beautiful in our shopping center, but it's empty. It's like crickets. But you could do so much. What can you do with it?
We have 16 screens.
See. Well, a lot of these theaters, I know probably where you are too. There are a lot of these, I call them new age churches, and they have names like Hope Church, Cool Church, this, and they're churches that attract like young people. And a lot of them have taken over like theaters and movie theaters on Sundays, right? Because people still give tithes and stuff. It may be bad economy, but they're still doing that.
There's still money out there.
There's still money out there. So I know that's one thing that some theaters have done, leased it, and that's nothing new, leased it out to groups on. But you have to think beyond that. Is that sustainable? What happens if the group says, well, I can't pay anymore? What do you have that is yours beyond because the leasing is great, but what else can you do? And I brought this up on Mediascope that there was a theater in Buffalo, New York that was an independent theater, wasn't like a Regal or AMC, but they used to have one screen every Friday night at midnight that was dedicated to what? Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah,
give the people what they want.
Because the Rocky Horror Picture Show, people is coming out the woodworks and they costumes and everything.
With toilet paper and rice and reciting the lines, and they will pay for this. They can watch Rocky Horror Picture Show.
You know which one we should do? Coming to America.
Can you imagine? Because I know every line.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing. This is beautiful. What is it? Velvet? I mean, that's the thing. You can really speak to niche audiences that way, and this also speaks to the diversity of things. Because so Rocky Horror Picture Show, that's great. But who primarily goes to Rocky Horror Picture Show? Yeah, it's diverse, but not as diverse as some other things. And then they certainly haven't done anything as niche as a Coming to America. Right? With something like that, I think if you look at different audiences and what do these different groups like? How can we do something for them and cater to them? Who can we partner with that we do a Coming to America night?
That's work. They don't want to do that much work.
That's why you're closed.
They don't want to do that. Too much work. That's too hard to figure out.
Well, the truth of the matter is,
audience and what they want. That's so hard.
Well, the truth of the matter is, many of these things will require a mask anyway.
Right, but the people would have fun, man. They did a Coming to America night.
Yes.
Exactly. And one of the nights they hide. This is how you draw people in. You have some African dance troops, right, that are there probably looking for work. One of the nights you bring them in to perform. Come on, people. You have some of these African restaurants, right?
Yes.
You can't have a buffet, but what you can do is have them sell, partner with them so that they can sell prepackaged things, prepackaged jollof rice. Hey,
you can have food truck.
Get a food truck out there. Exactly.
Get your royal wedding T-shirt.
See, this is the thing. They're putting out the attitude that nobody's buying anything and people aren't doing anything. That's not true. They're
The devil
waiting
is a
for
liar.
you to turn on your thinking caps and figure out how to get it to them. They're not going to come to you.
All they had to do was take a look at the e-commerce that has been happening throughout quarantine because people can't go anywhere, to attest to the fact that people are buying things and not just necessities, okay? Not just toilet paper and Lysol spray.
And people want entertainment right now.
What you think Amazon stock is going up? Why do you think?
That's why I had to keep my behind off of Amazon, because I know that I'll buy some things that I don't need to buy. Okay.
So you can have a Coming to America mask.
Yes.
People can join in.
An experience. Create an experience.
I don't know what the deal is, but there are a lot of lay people that should be hired by these companies. I don't know why they do. When they do focus groups, you do them with the wrong people because apparently it's not helping out. The way things were in the past, the way you did things and coming up with some ideas, yeah, great, it worked for then. But you don't have any future-proof ideas, and that's what you need. And this is why you need to get some young people on board who have their finger on the pulse of the. So I have just one more thing because I know that we are running so far over time.
We're running so over.
We're so over. So just to add to that, AMC theaters have pledged to stay open, and part of the reason is because they have this premium VOD, this video on demand deal with Universal.
Okay.
Now remember, they were at odds with Universal before. They were ready to fling them out to the ocean before. But now they decided, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And there you go. So they've got this premium streaming video on demand thing going, good for you. So one last thing that I want to talk about is Apple TV has extended their subscriptions for free through February of 2021.
Yes.
Did you talk about that? I don't know if you did.
No.
Okay.
No.
Even though it's media, it's still kind of tech, right? So it's everybody's stuff that the people that bought these Apple devices that have this free year, it's up November 1st, right? So they're now extending it to February of next year.
Nice.
So give away
news.
that free year, remember? And now, so monthly users whose subscription start date is before November 1st also got a deal with a $4.99 credit. So, and that's the cost of an Apple TV Plus subscription. So, and that appears for November, December, and January. So basically, it's free. So you don't have to do anything to get the credit, and users will be getting emails notifying you of these extensions and credits. Well, good for you. So now you have about 3 more months to decide whether or not you are going to keep Apple TV Plus. So Apple TV Plus, that means you better get on the creation game. You got
stuff in the hopper.
I hope you have a plan because it buys you a little time, but it's not going to be forever. So you better find a way.
I'm looking forward to Apple One whenever it launches because I think Apple One is a problem because I'm like, I don't need to pay $14.99 for the music and $5 for the arcade and such and such.
And if you want the help
$16 for magazines.
Right. When everything is bundled, that you know what, I think that may give a boost in terms of people keeping things because they'll figure, well, it's already part of this. It's not a big deal. So and people like the concept of bundling where you feel like you're getting more for less.
Right.
even if it's really not, or even if it's really only $1
And
less.
see-
I'll take that dollar.
And
you know.
this is the real bundling versus the cable companies doing their stupid
Right.
bundling.
This is
how you do bundling.
I'm like you, Doc. I'm like you all. I'm not a fan of bundling
Me either.
with the cable companies, but this
Right.
Apple one, I was like, oh, that works. That math works.
Apple is very smart. They are very smart. They're still new in this content production game.
Right.
It will remain to be seen whether or not they can really weather this whole. It's not really a storm yet, but
Right.
whether or not they can weather it, it will be stormy for them if they can't keep. If they do like Quibi, where they lost 92% of the people.
And see, Quibi is stories. I just got that. Quibi and them
Yeah.
is stories.
Yeah.
Extended stories. You're right.
And maybe they should run that over on Instagram and maybe on Facebook or wherever stories are being run instead of trying to have a TV
network.
Right.
network.
If
the way
Jeff
you think
Katzenberg,
about it.
sorry,
No, go ahead.
if Jeff Katzenberg was a thinking individual, this is what he would have done. He
Yeah.
would have partnered with, I don't know about Instagram. He may have tried, but you know,
Mhm.
Instagram is still Facebook.
Right.
He should have partnered with TikTok
Snapchat.
or Snapchat
There you go.
and really
There you
this would have taken off, because the thing he has is Hollywood star power. He has access to Hollywood star power.
Right.
That is something that a lot of these other people, they have to negotiate. But Jeff Katzenberg has been in the game for a while. He's not a tech company. He is actually a media company, unlike Instagram, unlike Snapchat, although they are pseudo or quasi media companies. Primarily, they're a tech company first, and as such, they don't have access to the game like Katzenberg does. So Katzenberg could have said, "Look here,
you need
I have Julia Roberts on
millennials.
speed dial. I have
Mhm.
this person. I have that person. Let's work together." They
Yeah.
could have come up with something, and there wouldn't have been this nonsense of, "I'm looking to sell Quibi. Who wants to buy alms for the poor?" That would not have happened. So that's my story. That's it.
That's why you gotta have youth in your company, in your business, what you're doing. And yes, Jeffrey Katzenberg, you're the big this, that, but you need the Gen Z and the millennial.
Right. Because they'll keep you on point about some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
Did you see what Mark said? He said, "Have Tachioki featuring the vocal stylings of Tachi Egbu. I would come for the earrings alone."
Come with the earrings.
Thank you,
alone.
Mark.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
This has been a good conversation, though.
It has.
It things are moving forward, and I think the moral of the story, the rest of the story, whatever we want to call it, is be forward thinking.
Yes.
Don't be dinosaur in your thinking, because
yeah.
it's not a good look.
This prehistoric thinking is done. It's
Yeah.
and it's costed you money now.
Yeah.
Now it's
we gotta
costing you
stop
money.
it. They have to stop it.
Right, because I'm thinking forward. So
Me too. Like we all are here.
we
Like, what
are
you
thinking
guys doing?
forward. Those of us, thinking forward. Yeah.
And there has been, they call them crazy or what have you, but it's the people that wrote Star Trek, the people that were thinking outside the Jetsons, and I'm thinking about cartoons and stuff that we saw,
Right.
and they were told, whatever. We're
I
living
remember
it
you were
now.
saying that we were saying about Steve Jobs and the tech history. Steve Jobs.
They thought, he was crazy.
They didn't understand this, but you only need that. You need the one person that's thinking forward for the company and bring the company and bring everybody with it.
Right.
And they had to bring him back, or else they was gonna pay.
Yeah.
Let me get him out of the dive. Let me bring him back. It was going down.
There you go.
Wow.
So thank you all for watching and participating. All of you watching live on the replay, and our resident comedian, Mr. Mark Ward.
Yes.
Thank you, Robin and Maureen and different ones who have popped in and out. We do appreciate you. Thank you so much for giving us your attention today. We'll be back on Monday. So you all enjoy your weekend. And Terry,
we want you to remember to go to the front of your own line, and we'll see you Monday. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Fran.
all right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.